All right, the National Arts Festival is open. It kicked off on Thursday in Makhanda, formerly known as Grahamstown, and it runs until the 7th of July. With hundreds of productions on the official program and thousands of shows, talks, workshops and street performances on the fringe, it will be hard for festival goers to pick and choose. Let's chat to the CEO of the National Arts Festival, Tony Lancaster. He joins us from Makhanda via Skype. Tony, welcome. How's it going thus far?
So far, so good, Francis. It's really nice to talk to you. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't played along. It's not as cold as we're used to in Makhanda during the festival. But the people are here in their numbers. It's a little bit anxiety-making every year when we set the festival up. It's like throwing a birthday party and we hang up balloons and we hope that people come. And it's always a pleasant surprise when they do. So it's really nice that the audiences have come out and they're supporting our artists at the festival this year. And yeah, it's all systems go. We've got another 7 days to go between now and next week.
Well, what is the turnout like and where do the people come from? And has that changed over the years, Tony?
Yeah, it's interesting. Every 3 years we do a tracking study and we do a full survey of our audience and try and understand where it is they came from. This year we're doing the study again. So the last data we have is from 2016. It's predominantly a South African audience, and about 25 to 30% of the audience come from the Eastern Cape itself. The next biggest province that supports us is the Western Cape, and then Gauteng, KZN, and then the smaller province make up the difference. It really is a national festival. I think it's one of those events that South Africans really have on their bucket list, that they grow up knowing about the festival. And our biggest challenge, I suppose, from a marketing point of view, is to convert people who say, oh yeah, I've always wanted to go, and convert them to actual attendees and get them to come to the festival. So it is a very wide mix, and there's a small percentage of people who come from overseas, internationally, and that's both audiences and artists as well. So we're very fortunate that it's a fantastic melting pot of absolutely everybody.
I was looking at some of the articles last week and I really liked one that said light taps action, Arts Fest ready to roll. The potential issues were Eskom cutting off power and water shortages. So it's all been okay and you expect it to continue to be so.
Absolutely. So first of all, on the electricity front, there is an agreement between our municipality and Eskom at the moment, which has been made an order of the court. So we've been given the assurance by both the municipality and Eskom that we won't be affected by any planned interruptions or cut-offs during the course of the festival. That doesn't mean that we're not at risk from the occasional unplanned interruption, but we have all emergency plans in place to deal with that as and when it may arise. As far as water is concerned, yeah, it's been in the news over the last couple of months, but actually on the ground in Makhanda right now, the city is full. Every single available bed is taken for this weekend. We've had an extremely busy weekend, and touch wood, no water outages at all. We do ask our visitors, because we are in a drought-hit area, we do ask them to take extra special care with the amount of water that they use. But I think South Africans are becoming more and more sensitive to that, and it's becoming easier and easier to get that message across.
All right, then we can talk about the artists and the art. If artists interpret the mood of the nation, what is the mood this year?
It's interesting, and you're right. We have about 700 productions, and each one of those productions on our stages is an artist telling their story and talking about where South Africa is at the moment through their eyes and through their art. And if I were to sum it up in a couple of words, I guess a lot of artists, like many South Africans, are feeling anxious. They're feeling concerned. There's a struggle at the moment for identity, I think, among South Africans. I think South Africans are generally grappling with questions of who they are. And where they fit in. There's a lot of anger at the moment in South Africa. We're seeing a lot of that coming through. And then the big weighty issues of our time that should be dealt with and are being dealt with through the arts, issues around gender violence, land ownership and so on. So all those big issues, state capture, they're out there, they're being spoken about, and we're seeing them reflected in the work on our stages as well. And it's great because all the artists take different takes on it. Some of them are comedians and they make jokes about it and then we all laugh together. Some of them, and some of the subject matter is not laughing material, and they might take a more serious approach to it as well. And then we all cry together. And that really is the beauty of the art. And it's the power of South Africa's artists that they're able to convey all of those emotions and feelings in the course of their work.
So I think the land issue is Brett Bailey. Then there's Irish comedian Dylan Moran, German Chinese choreographer Hannah Ma doing a dance piece, a virtual reality thriller, Frogman. This is just a taste. Is there anything that really stands out for you at this festival? What acts would you recommend?
Yeah. You're asking me which of my 700 children I like the most, which is an impossible question to answer. So all I can say is for people coming to the festival, I think go through the program, pick out one or two productions that have familiar names attached to them. Next weekend, we have Ladysmith Black Mambazo performing. We had Mafiki Zola performing, Springbok Nude Girls, Freshly Ground. So we've got those big headline acts as well. But the important thing about the festival is that it's a journey of discovery. You can dip into our program, see work by perhaps unknown artists to you, and you will discover some hidden gems within our program. And just through word of mouth in Makhanda in the course of the festival, you'll hear about things that are really special and unique. So we try not to be too prescriptive. We sort of set the table, but we don't tell you what to eat. And I think that's the best approach. And really, our audiences have the sense of adventure. And one of our strategies is to keep the ticket pricing as low as possible because we want people to explore. We want them to come and see 4, 5, 6 shows a day and not confine themselves just to their comfort zone and use the festival as a way of stretching themselves and exploring South Africa's arts. And if they're not a dance fan, go and see some dance just to try it out. If they're not a jazz fan, same thing. So it really is a fantastic opportunity just to explore and discover the next big thing because it's happening somewhere in Makhanda. We just can't always anticipate where it's happening.
So Tony, describe what it's like to be there for people who maybe haven't come before, maybe think, oh, one year I will get there, and maybe it'll be next year. So just explain what it's like to actually be there on the ground. And obviously you've got to book in advance, etc. But it's worth it.
It is worth it. And it's an interesting question because I'm not sure I'm the best qualified person to answer it. I think this is my 25th or 26th festival. And in the course of that time, I've never actually been here as a festival goer. I believe it's fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to one day actually doing it. So the best I can do is convey this. You wake up in the morning, and your first task is to flip through the program or the daily diary or the festival newspaper and pick out what you're going to do that day. You then go out and really are, in the course of one day, you're probably running between 3 or 4 different shows, spending a bit of time at our craft market. Apart from the ticketed shows, there's a whole bunch of free entertainment. There's a sundowner show every evening. And really, it's just a case of moving between our 60 venues and experiencing some of the art. Obviously, in the course of all of that, you've got to eat and you've got to sleep somewhere. And the nicest thing about the festival, I think, particularly for solo travelers, it's an entirely unintimidating environment. Where you can just arrive in town on your own or with a group of 10 friends and scatter in 10 different directions. And you will have an amazing experience just getting to know people. The most popular restaurant in town is called The Long Table, which is literally a long table. And there's no reserved seating. You just walk in, find yourself a gap, sit down and eat and start talking to the person next to you or opposite you. And that way you get to uncover more layers of the festival through the eyes of others. So it really is, it's an experience unlike anything else that you can do in South Africa. And you're absolutely right. I think a lot of South Africans have it as a bucket list event. And there's no better time to come than right now. And if the headline shows are sold out, if there are 1 or 2 productions that you wanted to do that are sold out, it doesn't matter because there are 2,000 other performances that you can choose from. If you were to watch every show at the festival back to back, it would take you about 6 months to see everything. So planning 2 or 3 days, you'll be able to fill your days very easily.
All right, Tony, thank you for your time tonight. I'm sure your own schedule is very, very busy. That was the CEO of the National Arts Festival, Tony Lankester.